India cannot become developed by 2047 by destroying the very environment in which Indians have to live today. Ask me anything. Ask me about unemployment, ask me about China, ask me about communal violence, ask me about government expenditure. Ask me about any government scheme. India cannot have a modern democracy with a colonial era police structure that remains vulnerable to political interference. Transfers cannot be used as a political weapon. The police cannot become the private army of the government of the day.
The views expressed in this blog are hosted on my own website, are strictly personal, and do not reflect the views of any organization.
Namaskar, happy Independence Day. Hello and welcome friends to Straight Bat, my weekly video blog where, as the title suggests, I comment with a straight bat. Now today's straight bat comes with a difference. Since it is Independence Day weekend, India is celebrating the onset of 80 years of freedom. And I thought, instead of analyzing the Prime Minister's speech from the Red Fort as is always done, why not this time imagine the speech I, Rajdeep Sardesai, would make if just for a day I was the Prime Minister of India. So here goes. Namaskar bhaiyo aur behno, brothers and sisters, dosto aur deshvasiyo, friends. Vanakkam, namaskara, good morning. Today I stand before you not merely as your Pradhan Mantri, but as your Pradhan Sevak. I know you've heard that phrase before. But today, I want to be the Prime Minister who walks the talk. So let me begin with myself. Within 1 month, I have decided that all ministers, including me, myself, the Pradhan Sevak, will vacate our sprawling Lutyens' bungalows and move into smaller homes. I will personally cut down my carcade. I will cut down unnecessary foreign travel, skip all those award functions that I am invited for across the world. And I have issued one simple instruction to my party and all chief ministers. No more pictures of me, a Pradhan Sevak, on every government hoarding, billboard and advertisement of any government program. Enough of this personality cult politics, my friends. A democracy is not a one-man show. The Prime Minister is temporary. The Republic is permanent. And today, on this special day, I want to make another commitment to you, my fellow citizens. The government of India will not identify itself with any particular religion. I am a religious person, but my faith belongs to my home and my conscience. As Prime Minister, I have only one sacred text, the Samvidhan, the Constitution of India. No temple, mosque, church or gurdwara will receive henceforth any special political patronage. Every place of worship will be treated equally under the law. And there will be no digging up of an existing place of worship to see what existed in that very spot 400 or 500 years ago. Let's look ahead, my fellow citizens, not look back in anger or with vengeance. Let me also be very clear today, absolutely clear. The freedom to practice your religion in a multi-religious society does not give you the freedom to hate another Indian. The state will not decide anymore what you will eat, what you will wear, whom you will marry, or what language you speak. As long as you remain within the law, the state will stay out. The job of the state is not to police your private life. It is to protect your public rights under the Constitution. Any hate speech, therefore, that deliberately promotes violence and communal enmity will face swift and certain punishment, irrespective of who makes it and which community is targeted. No selective outrage, no selective justice, one law, one standard, one India. Let me turn now, my friends, to corruption, an issue which troubles us all and on which I came to power. I had said Bhrashtachar mitayenge. So today I want to say very clearly, every MP and MLA of my party will publicly declare their assets every year. Those declarations will be independently audited. If any elected representative is found to have accumulated assets grossly disproportionate to their known source of income, there will be consequences. Immediate removal from office for starters is what I promise. In fact, I am introducing, my friends, a citizen anti-corruption mechanism. Listen to it carefully. If you are asked for a bribe by any government official, you should be able to record it and report it easily to a portal that I am setting up. Prima facie cases will be investigated quickly and special courts will ensure time-bound adjudication. Because, my friends, na khaunga na khane dunga cannot remain a slogan. It has to become a way of life in this country. Also today on this Independence Day, I want to say something directly to Gen Z. I want to say I am sorry. We or I misread you badly. We underestimated the depth of your anger, your anxiety, your frustrations. We thought perhaps you could be reached through Instagram reels, social media posts, and hashtags. We got it wrong. I got it wrong. When young Indians came out to protest on the streets last month, the first response of a democracy should have been not to silence them or to see them as anti-national. Far from it. They should have been accommodated and engaged with. And let me say this very clearly. Pellet guns should never be a weapon of crowd control against young, peaceful protesters. And therefore, I want to say this. I seek your forgiveness. Maaf kijiye mujhe. As public sevaks, we have to listen before we lecture. Don't be a WhatsApp uncle. So I'm announcing something today. Gen Z se baat. Once every month, I will meet young Indians from across the country. No, not for a photo opportunity, not for a scripted interaction for the television cameras, but to listen to each and every one of you. You can then question me, you can disagree with me, you can tell me where we have failed you. Because the youth of India don't need a government that merely talks at them. They need a government that listens to them. You are not the future of India, but you are India today. Which brings me to two issues affecting every Indian family today that we all should be concerned about: education and health. My government is committing itself today to move towards spending 6% of GDP on education in the next budget and substantially increasing public health expenditure. I know money alone is not enough. We need better schools, better teachers, better universities, better hospitals, and above all, better outcomes. I would rather build 1,000 excellent schools across this country than 1,000 political statues. And I am announcing today a national one-year examination reform program. Enough of paper leaks, enough of cancelled examinations, enough of making millions of young people pay the price for administrative incompetence in different states of this country. Our young people are not guinea pigs. Their future cannot be decided on whether a question paper reaches the right place on the right morning without any leaks. And let me say something else about our dear youth. India's biggest challenge is not simply unemployment. It is the absence of dignity in employment. My mission 2047 will therefore have one obsession: jobs, jobs, and more jobs. Rozgar, rozgar, rozgar. You see, I know AI will disrupt millions of jobs. Automation is going to change the workplace. But every technological revolution, my friends, also creates new opportunities. We need to prepare our young people for those opportunities, not simply tell them to wait for the next government recruitment, which may never come for years, as we are seeing in Jharkhand. India needs an ecosystem where entrepreneurs can create businesses, businesses can create jobs, and workers can earn with dignity. After liberalizing the economy in 1991, perhaps it is time to liberalize our minds in 2026. I want to assure you this today. No special favors will be given to any business house that is considered close to me. I believe in free enterprise. That means free and fair competition and, yes, ease of doing business, not as a slogan, but as a measurable change in systems and rules. Now I have a message also for India's women. We have heard enough slogans. Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao was a powerful slogan. But governments cannot be judged by slogans, they must be judged by outcomes. So I wish to make a big announcement that my party has decided to voluntarily commit to giving 50% of tickets to women in every election we will contest from now on. Yes, read my lips. 50% next time for women, for the Mahila. We will create a national framework to ensure that crimes against women are investigated rapidly and professionally. Because women don't need more speeches about empowerment. They need safety, opportunity, and genuine equal power. Now to another important issue, policing. India cannot have a modern democracy with a colonial era police structure that remains vulnerable to political interference. The Supreme Court gave us a roadmap for police reform nearly 2 decades ago. I will implement it. Transfers cannot be used as a political weapon. The police cannot become the private army of the government of the day. The police must serve the constitution, not the ruling party. And while I am talking today about institutions, let me talk about Parliament. Every Wednesday, I am making a vow today. I will spend at least 2 hours in Parliament during every session answering questions from the opposition. Yes, the opposition. Because democracy is not the art of silencing your opponent or treating him or her as an enemy. Democracy is the art of answering your opponents. Parliament cannot become a notice board where the government will put up legislation and the opposition simply watches it pass. And yes, I want to also give all my media friends something to cheer on Independence Day. I have decided I will hold a press conference every quarter. A real press conference, 2 hours. Ask me anything. Ask me about unemployment, ask me about China, ask me about communal violence, ask me about government expenditure, ask me about any government scheme. You can even ask me about Prime Minister Care Fund and where the money went and how it came in. And if I don't know the answer, I will tell you so. But I will not run away from questions. Because as Prime Minister, I believe we should be accountable enough to face all the questions you have for us. To my friends in the media, therefore, I say, don't be afraid of power. Your job is not to please us, the government. Your job is to question us. And yes, that questioning includes questioning me. Now to our judges. You should not have to worry that any inconvenient judgment today will cost you a government-appointed position tomorrow. I have decided to end this culture of post-retirement political patronage for judges. We need more judges. We need faster justice. We need judicial vacancies filled quickly. But above all, we need judicial independence. You are not my employees. You are the guardians of the Constitution, above all else. And that same message today goes to our civil servants. You, my friends, are the steel frame of India. So don't become the political punching bag of the government of the day, any government. If a minister asks you to do something illegal, you have every right to say no without fearing transfer or victimization. Let me turn now to the Election Commission. The Election Commission was once seen as one of India's great democratic institutions. I believe the system of appointing election commissioners needs greater independence and transparency. So I have decided to create a genuinely broad-based selection mechanism that will involve the government, the opposition, the judiciary, and independent members from civil society with recorded proceedings and publicly explained decisions. The referee cannot be seen as belonging to either team in a democracy. And let me turn to another of my key thrust areas for the future, the environment. India cannot become developed by 2047 by destroying the very environment in which Indians have to live today. Our forests, rivers, air and coastline are not obstacles to development. They are part of our national wealth, my friends. The National Green Tribunal will be strengthened. Environmental clearances will be transparent. Development will mean sustainable development. Because what is the point of becoming a $10 trillion economy, my friends, if our children cannot breathe clean air? Now let me come to perhaps the most important promise of all, federalism. There will be no double-engine discrimination under my government. A state ruled by my party is not more or less Indian than a state ruled by the opposition. There will be no selective release of funds, no misuse of investigating agencies to intimidate political opponents and opposition governments, no encouraging of defections simply because an elected government is seen inconvenient, no Sam-Dam politics anymore. And I will in fact bring an anti-defection reform that says something very simple. If you leave the party on whose ticket you are elected, you must seek a fresh mandate from the people. No exceptions, because elected representatives should not be allowed to change governments without changing their mandate. My fellow Indians, we have achieved much in the last 80 years. We have built institutions. We have survived war, famine, terrorism, political upheaval, and economic crises. We have sent spacecraft to the moon. We have built one of the world's largest digital economies. We have produced extraordinary scientists, entrepreneurs, artists, soldiers, and athletes. Let us celebrate all of that. But let us also remember, India was not built by one prime minister, one party, or one ideology. India is a relay race. Every generation receives the baton, runs its lap, and passes it on. That is why today I want to salute Jawaharlal Nehru, our first Prime Minister. I know some in my own party may ask, why are you quoting Nehru today? Because, my friends, I refuse to believe that patriotism means erasing the contribution of those who came before us. Nations are not built by constantly fighting the ghosts of the past. They are built by learning from the past. In his famous Tryst with Destiny speech in 1947, Nehruji spoke of the ambition to wipe every tear from every eye. He also said that so long as there are tears and suffering, our work will not be over. Those words, my friends, remain relevant as ever. My fellow Indians, our work is not over. We will not build a Viksit Bharat by dividing Indians into Hindus and Muslims, Brahmins and Dalits, North and South, rich and poor, ruling party and opposition. We will build it by giving every Indian a fair chance. Not an India where 1% of the population controls more than 40% of the national income. That can only happen when we build a fair chance, equal opportunity society. That's my goal. A fair chance to study, a fair chance to work, a fair chance to worship, a fair chance to speak out, a fair chance to disagree, a fair chance to live without fear, and perhaps most importantly, my friends, a fair chance to dream. That is the India I would want to lead. Not an India that's built around one leader, not an India built around one party, and certainly not an India built around one religion, but an India built around one great idea that the Republic belongs to each and every one of us. That is my vision, my fellow Indians, as your Pradhan Sevak. So on this 80th Independence Day, let us remember, Jai Hind is not a slogan reserved for those who agree with us. It belongs to each and every Indian. So let me say this proudly, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, Jai Hindustan, Jai India. That was the straight bat. Do of course subscribe to my YouTube channel for many more such videos and let me know. Do you see Rajdeep Sardesai as a future Prime Minister? Think about it. That was the straight bat. Bye for now. Happy Independence Day. Namaskar.